Let's open Gemini and select Create Image. I'm uploading this image. After uploading, I am pasting this prompt. Watch how I fill the placeholders with a custom name, a social media handle, and a tagline. Let's generate. This prompt enables you to create this modern 3D social media post for any photo and name. You can try it right away. And that is just the warm-up. Welcome back to part 2. You guys absolutely destroyed the comments section on the last video. You asked for more. So, I went back into the lab. Today, I have 10 new hard-to-find prompts that solve specific creative problems. We aren't just making pretty pictures today. We're going to look at extreme close-up shots, realistic water effects, textures that look ancient, and much more. We'll master materials and lighting first. But I've locked 3 special mixed media styles, including a magical living brochure as a bonus section at the end. Trust me, you need to see those. Let's dive in. Let's start with identity. Everyone wants a 3D avatar, but 99% of them look like generic mobile game characters. We want something that captures essence. Here is the strategy. I'm replacing the name placeholder with Elon Musk. I'm choosing him because he has highly recognizable features, the jawline and the hair. But look closely at the prompt. It also asks for a neon sign with a short quote. The AI actually uses the name we provided to generate a relevant quote on the sign behind them. For Elon, it wrote, "The future is neon," which is funny. We get characters that feel alive and friendly, not robotic. This is perfect for storytelling or news channels. If you are making a video about tech or history, you can generate unique, stylized assets of famous figures like Elon or Gandhi without relying on the same boring stock photos as everyone else. Now that we have a character, let's give them an office. I am uploading the same raw portrait again. Usually, AI logos look like flat digital stickers because they lack imperfection. We need to force the AI to understand materiality. Enter prompt number 3, the executive nameplate. Then I'm filling the name slot with Sarah Creates and the handle with @Sarah_creates. See that? The reason this looks expensive is the lighting physics. The brushed metal creates anisotropic reflections, while the brown leather desk pad provides a matte contrast. Imagine putting this as your banner on LinkedIn or YouTube. It immediately signals authority and high production value compared to a standard flat logo. We have the expensive materials down. Now let's break the physics of scale. I'm uploading a standard full-body photo here. This brings us to prompt number 4, the Mini-Me Keychain. Usually, if you try to make a person tiny, the AI distorts them. But we can fix that by tricking the virtual lens. I'm typing June on the strap. But the secret sauce is the background. Look at the prompt. By forcing a blurred background, we force the AI to simulate a macro lens with a shallow depth of field. It nails the toy aesthetic because we describe the texture of the figurine, cartoon style, versus the photorealism of the giant hand holding it. This is perfect for product mock-ups. It helps customers visualize physical merchandise before it actually exists. We've done polished metal and plastic toys, but AI usually struggles with age. This is prompt number 5, the unique item. Watch this strategy. I'm pasting the text and immediately replacing the object placeholder with Game Boy Color. We don't even need a reference photo here. Look at this result. I'm purposely forcing a modern Game Boy to look like ancient obsidian and silver. This clash of old versus new creates a much more interesting image than just asking for a generic sword. But this logic applies to any object. Whether it's a sneaker or a toaster, the keywords signs of age and bioluminescent light do the heavy lifting. They add atmosphere and history that manual prompting often misses. If you are in the gaming niche or creating assets for NFTs, this is your go-to prompt. You can turn mundane items into legendary loot instantly. We've mastered solid materials. Now, let's break physics. I'm uploading a standard portrait first. This is prompt number 6, the sinking dream. I don't even need to change a text variable here. The variable is the physics engine itself. By simply pasting the prompt, we force the AI to treat the subject like they are underwater. Notice how the clothes and hair float upwards? Without this specific instruction, The AI usually just applies a blue filter. You have to dictate the gravity. This is incredibly high-end for editorial fashion shots or album covers. It looks like a professional and premium underwater photo shoot, and it separates your content from the static studio shots everyone else uses. From the calm of the ocean, let's move to high-energy action. First, I'm uploading my subject. This is prompt number 7, the Chi Warrior. We are completely rewriting the subject's identity here. We are replacing the casual clothes with a weathered monk outfit and tribal tattoos. The key technical element here is glowing orange energy fists. This isn't just a prop, it becomes the primary light source for the image. It creates dramatic rim lighting on the muscles without us having to manually set up studio lights. This is the ultimate YouTube thumbnail hack. High contrast, bright colors, and implied movement are proven to increase click-through rate. Now we get to the mixed media prompts. This is prompt number 8, the globe portrait. First, I'm uploading the subject I want to put into the glass globe. This prompt relies on a global variable. Watch what happens when I type Christmas into the theme placeholder. Instantly, the AI fills the globe with snow particles and sets the lighting to a cozy, warm gold. It understands the context of the word Christmas without me describing the snow. Now let's keep the same image but change just that one word to cyberpunk. This doesn't just add a prop, it changes the entire rendering engine. It shifts the lighting to neon pinks and turns the particles into digital data. By putting the subject inside a glass globe, we create a barrier that makes the subject feel precious. Use case: perfect for seasonal marketing or luxury product shots where you want the object to feel protected and expensive. Now let's get even more artistic. Prompt number 9, the modern art and portrait. This is dangerous territory. Usually AI blends styles into a mess. We are going to force a split composition. First, I upload my subject. I have 3 specific variables to control here. First, I'm changing the outfit to ensure she looks formal and sharp on the left side. Next, the typography. For the heading, I'm typing, keeping it short and bold. And for the quote, I'm adding the specific call to action. Look at the result. It explicitly places the black and white geometric vector art on the right to balance the realism on the left. It handles the typography perfectly because we gave it clear hierarchy, a short heading and a longer subtitle. This is literally a magazine cover in one click. If you are building a pitch deck or a website header, this style looks like you paid a design agency thousands of dollars. And another bonus prompt, the 3D living brochure. This is for the travelers and the storytellers. We are going to take a city and turn it into a pop-up book. First, I'll fill the placeholder with Kyoto. The strategy here is to pick cities with very distinct silhouettes. Look at the result. Kyoto is perfect because the torii gates and pagodas are instantly recognizable. Notice how the map on the table actually morphs into the real city in the background? But let's try something more complex. I'm switching the city to Istanbul. We need architecture that can physically rise out of the paper. And here is the result. Istanbul's domes and minarets are perfect for this 3D effect. It's meta, it's complex, and it's basically impossible to Photoshop this well in under 10 seconds. If you run a travel blog or an agency, this is your new hero image. If you want to try these right now, I have shared all prompts in the description below. Go pick one and try it out yourself. Now, regarding part 3 of this series, I have a script ready that goes even deeper into experimental workflows, but I am only going to make it if you guys actually want it. So if you want to see part 3, drop a comment saying, "Continue," right now. If I see enough comments, I'll record it next week. See you then.